Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have a chess miniature to share with you that was awarded the Brilliancy Prize. This was played at the 1979 Montreal Tournament. On the white end, Boris Spassky, playing against Mikhail Tal. Two former world champions going at it. The opening, Queen's Indian defense. This is really a model game out of this opening, or I should say a model game for the side who is in possession of the hanging pawns. E3 signals the Spassky System, go figure. Bishop b7. These two have an eye on the e4 square so that this e-pawn doesn't get too excited. Bishop d3, d5, and note no castles here. As soon as black has tension on c4, we have b3, a move that takes into account both bishops. White's prepared to fianchetto, and prepared to now meet the capture on c4 with the b-pawn recapture, maintaining this bishop on this excellent diagonal. Bishop d6, both sides castle, minor pieces are deployed. Queen goes to e7, Spassky's queen rook goes to the c-file. Tal's queen rook goes to the center. A battery is now produced. And let's get one more move in here. c5 brings us to the halfway point of the game. Does anything happen to stick out to you about this position? If you'd like to, go ahead, pause the video, maybe give it 30 seconds. Okay, for me at least, I see this one as a highly symmetrical position. The only differences are with the queens and queen rooks. This is going to change quickly. These next couple of moves, the structure is going to change, and with it, the mobility of the pieces change. We begin with c takes d, e takes d. The follow-up, d takes c. Before we get there, though, I'd like to note something. As soon as black makes this capture, a new square opens up for white, namely f5. Considered a top move here, knight h4, clearly looking to hop in. Considered best, g6, and now it suggests bring the knight back into the ballgame. So these last two moves by white seems like a waste of time. Can't black just claim, hey, thanks for giving me a flight square? Not exactly. This maneuver by white has created two permanent weaknesses on black's kingside in a position where all pieces still remain. This is a classic case of provoking weaknesses. Okay. In our game, it is d takes c, b takes c, and here we are. Tal is in possession of the hanging pawns. Queen c3, new battery formed. A new square is also in mind maybe for the queen. This is a hole on a5 now that b takes c5 is in there. Last piece now activated for black. In the game, rook f to d1 is played. Considered better, put the rook on the e-file. If this rook is here, black cannot continue with the thematic pawn advance like we see in the game. Namely, d4 in this position, not available with the rook on e1. White could capture, and then there'd be a problem with the black queen. In this game, though, the rook goes to the d-file, and in comes the thematic break, d4, extending the scope of the bishop, and also helping out these major pieces on the e-file. After this capture, there's two new possibilities. I must say that this thematic advance hits that much harder in this game. The queen is on a pretty unusual square. You're not always going to get this advance in with this great a punch. We have the continuation. E takes d, C takes D, and now this is an important moment in the game, to be sure. This is where white goes astray, ends up playing queen a5. The big question here is, why doesn't white take on d4 with the queen or the knight? Let's have a look at each. Queen takes d4 is not a good idea for white because of the reply knight c5, and white will now experience a problem on the d file, namely d3 and d4. Black now has a threat to take on h2 with check and then win the queen. There really isn't a great reply here for white. What's happening if the knight captures on d4? This is in fact the best move. What keeps Spassky from playing in this way? Well, a sacrifice that, as it turns out, doesn't work. As soon as the knight goes to d4, h2 is a weakness. This is not working, but let's see why. The king can take, knight can land the check, and the king does not have to run back. It should go forward in this position. White is winning, even though this king is on rank 3. Follow-up check here. The best move is f4. A way that white can go wrong here would be to take the knight, and black will have checkmate in a handful. Let's see what that looks like quickly. Knight f6 check, and then we get these next 3 moves in here with mate on g2. Let's back up a bit and see the very best reply, and that is f4, queen e3. This is as far as I'm taking it. Considers it winning for white. King is on the edge. Bit scary to be sure, but there is apparently no good follow-up here for black. That's several moves deep. Again, this is a reason why maybe Spassky is not taking on d4. This is definitely pretty scary. In this game, it's queen a5. And now what's the plan? Well, if you're going to have some successful attack against the white king, you kind of have to get rid of the number 1 kingside defender. And that piece is the knight on f3. So, in comes knight e5, trying to exchange the queen knight for the king knight. We get just that. Black, of course, recapturing with the bishop. We do not want a queen exchange. Knight c4 is the follow-up. Now, we're going to end up having a sacrifice on h2. You could take on h2 right now successfully. This is not the way Tal plays in this exact position, but it happens 2 moves from now. Something I questioned is, what if the knight goes elsewhere? What if white pulls a piece towards the king side to try and secure h2? Black is still winning here by maneuvering this knight into the weakened f4 square. When white captures on d4, we have that similar thing happening. Just like I mentioned earlier, the white knight trying to get into f5. Well, black's king knight can try to get into f4. This is considered a winning idea for black. I took it out a little bit further from this position. I wondered, well, what if the knight goes here, opening up this square for the bishop, preparing to meet knight f4 with bishop to f1? Things seem cool. Like everything seems defended. g2, 2 attackers, 2 defenders. But black has this excellent winning continuation, and that is to play knight h3, giving up a full piece to shatter the kingside structure. All these are now isolated, and black can continue with bishop takes knight. If you take away from the center, that would be a quick mate. And if you take towards the center, you're still dead because this battery is deadly. Anyhow, this is a path forward for black if the knight tries to cover h2. Knight h5, knight f4 is the idea. In this game, the knight goes to c4. We get this valuable tempo in against the queen, a rook lift, queen goes to d2, and now in comes the sacrifice on h2. Now it is working. King takes h2, rook h5 check. In the game, the king goes to g1. If the king goes to g3, it would lead to mate. With knight e4 check, bishop takes knight, and then the queen ends up giving the mate in a few moves, just like this. In the game, though, it is king g1, and now the final move of this one, knight g4, white resigns. What do you do here? How do you try and stop queen h4, queen h1 mate? g3 to cover this square? Well, it'd be mate on the spot. g3 extends the scope of the bishop, so that's not working. Queen f4 is also not working because queen h4, and you're not stopping queen h1 mate. Anything else? There is one other move to have a look at, and that is after this. What are we doing here? I wonder if you can spot what the winning continuation would be. Feel free to pause the video. All right, black can check his way to checkmate if the rook plays here. Rook h1, king takes rook, queen h4 check, king g1, queen h2 check, and now black would have the pleasant choice of queen h1, queen takes g2, or, my favorite, for whatever the reason in this position, bishop takes g2 for mate. There is no good reply to knight g4 in this position. White simply resigns. So, a little insight into the thinking of Tal with this game. I think you may enjoy knowing this. After the tournament, he shared some words. He kind of deflected to another combination in his game against Hubner in the same event, saying, quote, "The combination in it was far more original than a simple variation on the bishop captures h2 theme," end quote. So I do get the impression Tal really didn't think very highly of this particular game, yet it was awarded the Brilliancy Prize. What do you think? Anyhow, feel free, as usual, to leave any feedback to this video in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care.